Welcome to the second episode of the B&E Show. That's the business and entertainment show on CBX right here every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. My name is JR Watkis, your host, and this week I have another guest. He is the managing director of Dream Entertainment. Now, Dream Entertainment, they've been reported to have generated over $1 billion for the entertainment industry every year at their annual Dream events in Negril. And I have the managing director, Scott Dunn, here to tell me all about Dream Entertainment, what Dream is, and how Dream has added to the value of entertainment and the business community in Jamaica. Scott Dunn.
What's up, JR?
Welcome, boss.
Good to be here, man.
I'm happy to have you. Now, Scott, I have been watching you for years. You're a role model in the business community, but you're also a role model in the party community. Like, I realize all your peers look up to you. How did you start and how did you get to your present job?
I guess they just look up to me because I've been around for a long time. It started really from, high school. I was student council president at Wolmer's and was involved, in fundraisers as student council president. But it really kind of matured when I was in university. I went to the University of South Florida in Tampa, Florida, and did a number of events while I was in university. Did some stuff here in Jamaica when I was home on summer holidays, and it kind of just blossomed from there. But you're talking about that's a long time in the business, because I said my college years was the mid-90s.
So you're the managing director of Dream Entertainment. Now, Dream Entertainment has a diverse board. Like, you have people from all different facets of life that make up the board. Stephen Price is one person. I think Gary Sinclair was also.
Well, Gary Sinclair was involved through Proven. So Proven owned 20% at Dream at one point, but that was bought out by a company called Yes I. The founders of the company, a very diverse group. Everybody, involved in entertainment, but probably more known for some other stuff. So like Stephen Price, as he said, who's CEO of Flow, Solomon Sharp from Main Event and Supreme Ventures, PJ Wright, a known, restaurateur, Kamal Banki from Ribbies, a number of us, and then a few of us who are more known from the entertainment side,
How did this team come together?
Yeah, so it's really born out of the party movement that was happening in Negril. Prior to Dream Weekend, there was ATI and RTI in Negril, which essentially was led by, the two major alcohol brands, Appleton on the ATI side, Red Stripe on the RTI side. So some of us were on the ATI side, and the Daydreams guys, Right Image, PJ and Gregory, were on the RTI side. And, it dawned on us that basically, we're kind of fighting and competing to no end, So we thought if we came together, that really would be the Dream Weekend. If we took the best parties in ATI, the best parties in RTI, it'd be a dream for the patrons, and it would be a dream for us as promoters to put on the best event possible. So that's really what happened. You're taking us back now, first year Dream, I believe, slipping now, 2009. It's,
That's not so far back, 2009.
Yeah.
And since 2009, how would you describe the progress of Dream from then, from RTI, ATI to Dream to now?
So I would say the big difference, obviously it's grown tremendously in the numbers, but the big difference is that it was predominantly a weekend for locals. It would have been predominantly Jamaicans, and then, college students, Jamaican college students coming home, for the holidays. Now it's really grown into a true international event. Tourist Board does surveys every year. We realize that 60% of our patrons are international, coming out of big diaspora markets. They have also now seen where it's grown from a weekend. So most people used to come to ATI, RTI, would stay for 2 nights, maybe 3 nights. Now people are staying 5, 6 nights. People coming out of the UK and Europe are even staying beyond the festival. So they come for a week, 2 weeks. So as a tourism product, and as an economic driver, it's certainly grown significantly.
How do you decide on the price of a party?
It's like, I guess anything else, it's the market is really what dictates at the end of the day. We have to be able to price it in terms of what people can afford, but also something that's going to be profitable for us at the end of the day. We view ourselves and pretty much everything we do as premium products, so we tend to be, at the higher end of the market, but not out of reach of our consumer.
And as for Jamaica, what's the value you'd say? And over the years, you guys have made big headlines. Dream Weekend generate $1 billion. Have you made $1 billion, or the company made $1 billion, or did the entertainment market?
Well, neither of us or the company has made $1 billion to date. I mean, we certainly hope one day that we will. But I think more importantly for us, because it's never really been about us trying to get rich. It's something that we're just very passionate about, and we realize it's something that we're building something for our country. It's really truly a tremendous entertainment product. So what we do with Dream Weekend, we're bringing people from all around the world to come and experience Negril, and they're spending billions in the economy at a time when it would normally be slow, because obviously for Jamaica, the winter tourist season is when you see a lot of tourists, and the economy is booming in towns like Negril. In the middle of the summer, it's not usually a good time for Negril. So, and then positioned right before back to school for so many people, it's very important to just, for the little man even to be able to send them kid back to school, that everything from the pan chicken man and the coconut man and, the person selling peanuts or cigarettes or, the waiters working in the restaurants, the tips that they're getting, the taxi drivers, it's really is tremendous to see, what it does to the economy, and we feel very proud about that and feel, happy with ourselves that we can do that.
After the break, you're gonna tell us how we can further develop brand Jamaica into party destination Jamaica. We'll be right back. This is the B&E show on CBX. My name is JR Watkis. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the B&E show on CBX. My name is JR Watkis, and I have with me this week Scott Dunn, Managing Director of Dream Entertainment. Now, Scott, tell us how Jamaica, brand Jamaica, can be further promoted as a party destination. I went to Vegas a couple of weeks ago. You know what Vegas was about. Gambling, everything was just in your face as soon as you landed. There were slot machines in the airport.
In the airport,
yeah. But when you land in Jamaica, you see no such thing. In fact, the first time you see any kind of life in Jamaica from the airport is when you get to Harbour View, except the Jellyman who's on the road. So how can we further promote destination Jamaica as a party city for Mobay, Kingston, Portland, wherever?
Right. So, I'm glad you bring up, Las Vegas. We've always looked at big destinations globally and thought that Jamaica really should be, on that level. So, you bring up Las Vegas, there's places like, South Beach in Miami, New Orleans, Ibiza in Spain. These are places that literally live off of entertainment and, and lifestyle. And when you look at Jamaica in terms of where we're positioned geographically close to the States, we have, the landscape, we have beautiful mountains, beautiful beaches. You say Vegas is in the middle of a desert. Vegas on its own has nothing to offer. Everything in Vegas is something that was built there, purpose built, to drive people into the city. The city on its own really has nothing to offer. So we look at Jamaica and say, we already have this beautiful landscape. It's already, we already have this lore, thanks to, people, like Bob Marley and our reggae musicians coming out of the 70s and into the 80s. And, what they've done for Jamaica, our culture is already something that people are attracted to. Why don't we have this big, event tourism product? And I said, Dream really is one of the first to kind of realize that, hey, this is something that can happen. We've done it with the Dream Weekend brand. We've done it now with the Exodus Carnival brand. And then even with some of the smaller brands that, our partners operate, on a smaller scale, we see now where people will jump on a plane to come to Jamaica for some of these events, that happen, throughout the year, stuff like Yush and, chilling on the farm and events like this, FOF, Festival of Floats. These are, stuff that people literally book a ticket to come home and do. And we realize, we should be building up more festivals, more festival seasons, more stuff like Dream Weekend, like Exodus Carnival, like Reggae Sumfest, like Rebel Salute. Really, we don't have much festivals for an island that is known for music, known for entertainment, known for culture. So that's really the route, to build out more big, sustainable festivals and bring people to the island for these things.
And other than the people coming to the island, I noticed that you brought the Dream package to Malta recently. You did one in New York. Are you going to do a Dream Las Vegas? Because I realize there's no dance hall in Las Vegas. Are you akin to doing that kind of export commodity?
Yeah, so we're looking globally at different opportunities. Vegas isn't an immediate opportunity staring in front of us. So you mentioned New York. We did New York in 2020. We're doing New York again in 2022. We did Malta. For those who don't know, Malta is in Europe, just south of Italy. Beautiful, group of islands. We did 11 events over 4 days there. We carried Popcorn, Ding Dong, Bounty, Beanie over there. So, we looked at it as like one of the biggest lineups that, for dancehall that Europe has really ever seen, like a big, powerful dancehall lineup. And it was a very successful event. So we're looking at Europe again next year. Possibility not necessarily Malta. Right now we're looking at Tenerife, which is in the Canary Islands. So it's a Spanish-owned group of islands off the coast of Africa. We're looking at that for next year. We're looking at opportunities in the UK. The UK is one of our biggest markets, both for the Jamaica event for Dream Weekend as well as for the Malta event. It was primarily people coming out to the UK. So we see opportunities globally. Everything that we do globally, though, we look on it as an opportunity to really showcase what we can do and let them know that, hey, the mecca of all of this, though, is what we do in Jamaica. So we don't really see anything eclipsing that Dream Weekend Jamaica experience, and we don't have any plans of stopping that experience. But whatever we do globally, it's like saying, hey, it's like an advertisement for Dream Weekend Jamaica and for Exodus Carnival Jamaica.
I notice you're bringing Ashanti and Ja Rule to Jamaica. Favorite artists, love them. How hard it is to pull a crowd with the Jamaican talent, and is it more difficult than if you import a foreign act?
I guess it depends on the talent. You obviously have some Jamaican talents that are big crowd draws, but again, particularly since that we haven't had much international artists here in a few years. So obviously, jazz and blues is no longer. Sumfest has, moved away from doing international artists. So there really hasn't been a lot of international artists over the last few years. Yush in itself is already a popular brand, which is the brand that we're bringing Ja Rule and Ashanti for. So, people love Yush. They love that 90s into early 2000s music, love that feel. And then I say, obviously, Ja Rule and Ashanti are two mega stars, most popular in that 2000s era. They're kind of synonymous with Yush. So it's, what the indications we've seen is that, the sales have been very robust, and we expect it to be, probably one of the biggest events that Kingston certainly has seen, maybe one of the biggest events on the island in years.
Wow. There's something happening with the current top acts. They're charging 1.5 million US per show. Burna Boy, every promoter trying to get Burna Boy to come to Jamaica, but his price point exceeds what the patron can pay. Is there something happening in the globalization of music, live music in particular, which is your field, that is preventing promoters from getting these top tier acts and getting secondary acts or acts that have catalogs whose time has passed? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I say, price is a big issue right now. I say, again, these artists that are, the top tier artists are really selling out, arenas and stadiums, at very high price points, So for us, our market locally to be, you know, you want to see any of those big name acts, you know, a Burna Boy, a Drake, a Jay-Z, you know, Beyonce, Rihanna, anybody at that type of level, you're talking about, you know, people are going to probably have to pay somewhere about maybe $30,000 upward.
Or 300,000.
And then you also need to draw 10,000 plus people at that price point. That's a very risky venture for any promoter. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you know, it takes a lot of cojones to outlay that type of money for artists like that. When, you know, obviously there's never any guarantees in our business. So that's just a big outlay.
So how do you fund it? If you don't have the capital to put out, how do you fund a party or an event like that?
Well, traditionally here in Jamaica, there's been no outside funding. You know, banks and investors generally don't touch the entertainment business. Everybody sees it as too risky. That's changed a bit, you know, with what we've done, where we've gotten investment. You know, initially I said from Proven, and then by SIR, where, you know, corporate has kind of looked on us a little different, but we're structured a bit better than most in the entertainment business. The team behind us is a recognized team of, you know, people successful in business generally. But for most in events, you know, they haven't been able to get that kind of investment that would be needed to do anything on that type of scale. So, you know, that's kind of where, you know, for the industry really to develop in any significant way, it is going to take some outside investment, but it's just to find those investors that see the value, you know, in entertainment, in the culture, and realize that really can be a big economic driver going forward. Also for the government to invest more as well.
More from Scott Dunn, Managing Director of Dream Weekend, after the break. I'm JR Watkis. This is the B&E Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the B&E Show. I'm JR Watkis, and as you know, my guest this week is Scott Dunn, Managing Director of Dream Entertainment. And Scott is telling us all about how to plan a party, how to execute a party, and how to get to the money. Because that's what we're talking about, the capital in the culture. And Scott, we want to know, how do you plan a party, execute a party, and profit from a party? Tell me about that from conception to reality process.
Yeah, so I mean, from conception, obviously, it comes with an idea. You know, you think of some type of concept, you know, ideally something that's somewhat original, you know, not what everybody else is doing out there. Certainly from Dream side, we're always trying to find stuff that's different, you know. So you come up with this concept. And then for me, really, my next step is always budget, you know, is putting some numbers behind that. And I think that's where, again, where we as Dream Entertainment separate from most. I find most people who doing events aren't very disciplined in their budgeting process and aren't necessarily realistic with their expectations of revenue. So for us, you know, it's always about budgeting, you know, and there's obviously many different areas that fall into that, everything from, you know, the talent-related costs, so that can be, you know, your DJs, your artists that performing, you know, you get into the venue-related costs, from renting a venue to building out the infrastructure for the venue, being, you know, stuff like, and the most basic level as stage, sound, lighting, stuff like that. Then you get into stuff like security, both private security and police. In any big event, you need that police presence, so, you know, people can feel secure. And then obviously
security.
Security in general, right? But I say we, you know, with larger events, you take out some type of private contract with the police. There's, you know, set rates for that. So you go to your local station. There's, you know, money that needs to be spent on permitting. You know, you have to budget out, you know, what in terms of if you make a profit, what you're going to need to pay in taxes. There's really a lot that goes into it. And then once you had that budget in place and realize, okay, yeah, this looks like, okay, this is sustainable, this is a goal, it's an event that we can make a profit on. Again, you're being realistic with what's the revenue that's coming in. Because again, that's a thing that I see a lot of people, their expectations is like, you say, oh, okay, you're going to do this event, and I say, okay, what's your break-even point? Oh, I'm not sure. I work it out. Oh, I'm going to need 3,000 people to break even. I'm like, 3,000 people don't come every day. That's like very few events get 3,000 plus people in Jamaica.
Even 1,000.
Yeah. So if that's what you're budgeting for a break-even point, that's a very risky strategy. So again, people need to be very realistic with their expectation, particularly as a first timer, which is I imagine some of the people who would be looking for the type of advice that I'm giving people with not a lot of experience. If you haven't been doing this for years, the likelihood of getting 1,000 plus people at your first event or your second event is just not likely to happen. So, you get your budgeting, and then you move into execution phase, which ideally, again, you want to give yourself as long a window as possible. People will say with things like Dream Weekend, we're literally promoting all year round. As we finish with one event, we start selling tickets for the next. So you give yourself time to be able to promote the event, adequately. With Carnival, it's like a 6 month from launch to actual road march day. So you get into execution mode. You're doing your mainly initially is your marketing that you'll be doing, promoting the event. But you also have to manage your spend. You don't want to spend too much too early. Particularly Jamaicans tend to be very last minute with their spend. So if you have money for radio ads and flyers, you don't want to use up all of those months before the event. And then when you get close to the event, you don't have any money left, which is when people actually making their decision. Most people in Jamaica don't buy a ticket till couple of days
before.
Yeah, or the day of, or them paying at the gate. So you really need to make sure you have marketing spend down on the wire as well. So that's when the radio ads like beating out hard now, and that's where your flyers at every event at the week leading up and that kind of stuff. Your billboards out on the road where people can see them. So with your marketing, and then the other stuff that around execution, it's good to maybe build some type of timelines to understand when you need to get everything done, from booking the venue, to, hiring a production company, to hiring a bar service, to when you get in your liquor and consignment, speaking to sponsors. Again, that's something that people also think that, they will see events like ours and see, a lot of sponsors on the event and think, okay, yeah, that means my event is going to be paid for because I have sponsors. No, generally, even for us who are, maybe the biggest in the game, sponsorship is really just a small percentage of our budget. So even when you're seeing these big liquor companies, being part of the event, is really just a small part of our budget that they're paying. I mean, we're glad for those partnerships, and it's very important to the success of the event, and it's an important revenue item, but it's really not, the only thing. It's really just a small part of what you have to do. Most of your revenue is going to come from your ticket sales and your bar sales. That's really where you make your money.
How did you get the money first from Proven, and then how did you get it from Yesaya?
Well, so with Proven,
and by the way, I had interviewed Chris from Proven before, and he said the way to get money is to have a reputation.
Right.
So I want to know, what was your reputation?
Well, so we'd obviously been in the business a long time by the time we got to the table with Proven. So I believe we're in 2022. I believe it was 2019, early 2019 that Proven came on board. By that time, Dream Entertainment had been around 10 years, and the principals of Dream, my business partners, we'd all been in the business 20 plus years. So again, we had that reputation there. And I said, really, with Proven, the play was, wanting to get onto the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So Proven came in, with capital that we needed at the time. To fund a venture that we were doing, which was the Dream Weekend Cruise, as well as to give us that guidance to move towards going public. Unfortunately, COVID got in the middle of everything and really crushed entertainment sector and really brought our business and pretty much everybody else's down on our knees. So hasn't really been timely to go to the stock exchange, but we're seeing huge pickup now in 2022, since the summer of 2022. You know, we had Exodus Carnival, we had Dream Jamaica, Dream Malta. So we see where our events are doing well again. And, you know, we believe that, in the not too distant future, we should be able to do an IPO. Yeah.
So your North American partners, Live Nation, well, not partners, competitors, Live Nation, they're on the stock exchange. They've reported quarterly earnings that went up because they do live shows, they do parties. But they're also partnering with companies like yours in different cities and countries. Would you partner with a Live Nation? Yeah,
so I mean, we look at Live Nation and similar companies globally, and I think it's almost a natural progression to get to the table, you know, with people like Live Nation, because then you have access to huge capital, you have access to, you know, a database that's tremendous. Because again, you know, for those who don't know, Live Nation are, you know, probably the biggest concert promoters in the world, biggest venue owners in the world. So almost, you know, a lot of these big sports stadiums and arenas and, you know, concert venues that you see within the States
plus
and the UK.
Plus they own Ticketmaster. So
and they also, exactly, they own Ticketmaster. So, I mean, you look it up, they own so many large venues in the States. So in terms of being able to take things to our next level, to be able to have that capital, you know, to big talent, you know, and to be able to get your, you know, the credibility on the international scene. So while our names are huge, you know, to an extent, certainly in Jamaica and the Caribbean and within the diaspora, and I think, well, to a lesser extent, even in the black community globally, people within entertainment in the black community globally know about Dream Entertainment, know about Dream Weekend, but to really take it to that next level, you know, a partner like Live Nation certainly could make that a lot easier.
What's next for Dream?
Look out for somebody else big in the carnival space to be partnering with Exodus Carnival you know, by the time we launch in November. You know, we follow that up obviously next year. You know, Exodus Carnival is in April, the actual staging of the event. We have Dream Weekend New York in June of next year, followed by Dream Jamaica, which will be, you know, late July into early August. And then we're looking at, you know, the next staging of a European event, which will likely be in September. The team actually goes to Bermuda this November. We're exploring an opportunity there with the Bermuda Tourism Authority of doing, you know, a Dream Diamond experience, that's a VIP experience within Bermuda. So that might be something that comes on for 2023 as well. And just, you know, eyes and ears open to whatever else there is out there. I mean, we also do a lot of work within corporate. So we work with a number of corporate clients in doing their events and their executions on behalf of them. So we do a lot of work with, you know, various Grace Kennedy subsidiaries, you know, subsidiaries within the ICD group, Port Authority. We do a lot of work with pretty much everything that's happened out at the Port Royal Cruise Ship Pier. Dream Entertainment has had some hand in that. So we look forward to doing more stuff with our corporate partners as well. And yeah, and just keep our eyes and ears open for opportunities globally. Hopefully sit down with people like Live Nation and see, you know, what's there for us.
Got done. Thank you so much, Brethren, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the BNE Show. My name is JR Watkis. Tune in next week for another exciting episode on Channel 143 on Flow and Channel 28 on Digicel, where I'll have another guest telling us about the business and entertainment in Jamaica and the value to come from it. Bye. See you next week.